another video, and this one's going to be a very useful one because I'm going to be making a card out of my scraps. Now, you can see that my scrap bin is full to the brim. Like, there is no more room for scraps. So, I am going to show you a little technique to use up your scraps. So, first of all, probably the hardest part, at least for me, is, well, getting rid of paper is a very difficult task. But being able to match papers is also difficult, which is why I create so many scraps, because I just can't match colors together. So for this technique, essentially you want to pick a color. So you're basically just going to pull out every color, every piece of paper that either matches or has a little bit of your chosen color. So I think I'm going to choose blue, just because this one right on top looks nice. So I'm going to take this one out, and then I'm going to find a few more scraps. Some blue. And it can be any sort of blue. It doesn't need to match what you're pulling out. It's just anything with a chunk of blue on it, and then we'll worry about connecting them later. Alright, oh, there's lots of blue there. Okay, so you have your pile of blues or pinks or yellows or whatever color you've chosen, and now I want to separate my solids from my patterns. And obviously you don't need to do this if you can just kind of visually do it, but this helps me just see what I have available, because solids are a lot easier to have as backgrounds. And then patterns are really just things that make it pop, right? So let's pull this one. I saw a few more, I think. Same color? Yeah. Okay, I think I've gotten all of my solids. Okay, and then you just choose of your patterns. You choose from your patterns which ones are your favorite, which ones you think might look nicely with certain colors. I always stick to about 2 or 3 solid colors. Doing more than that makes it look a little bit stuffy, I guess. Like it's just too much going on. So I think that these two look really nice together, so I think I'm gonna keep those ones. And I'll get these ones out of the way for now. Don't need them. You can always change your mind later, but this one, oh, that color looks nice together like that. This isn't very much of it, but that one looks nice as well. I really like this pattern, but I'm not sure that it's not quite, but I am going to leave it in the pile and test it. No, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Doesn't really match what I'm looking for. Okay, well, I've got a little more of this, so I'll add that over there. Does this one match? Not quite. That one's nice. And okay. So I'm gonna get rid of, I know I've chosen quite a few and I'm going to cut it down again. I'm just going to first test out all of my colors to see what looks nicest. Get rid of all of these extra scraps. And you can keep those extra scraps again ready to go for another set. If you don't want to do just these scraps, you can do another one. Okay, so we are going to make our regular size card. So this time I want to make a card that folds, and I'm actually just going to do it because it's a lot easier to do than explain. Because normally I would cut it down at 5.5 and then fold it inwards. This time I'm going to fold it halfway this way, which is 4.25. And now I want to fold it this way. And you don't need to do it this way. You can do it the regular way. You could do any other card this way. It's really personal preference. Or just something fun and different. Oops. So this one will be folded at 5.5. Okay, so there we go. Put this here. Okay, change this back out. We only need the bone folder once for here. So I'm going to fold my sheet, see what it looks like. So it'll open like that. All right, next what I want to do is essentially I'm going to cut my scraps into 1-inch strips, and then I'll worry about cutting the length afterwards. So let's see, how big is this one? Perfect. That one's already preset. I'm gonna cut a few. I'm gonna cut this way and this way just to see which one I prefer. Whoops. Okay. Alright. This isn't really a scrap, so I'm gonna leave that to the side. This could be a nice embellishment. This one, oh, and then I can get rid of my excess. Da-da-da. Is there enough for, yeah, perfect. This one as well, not quite, but, okay. I probably don't need this color, but we'll come back if we need to. My foot is itchy. I feel like I got a mosquito bite. Hopefully not. Okay, another strip here. So another problem of mine is, would you guys consider this scrap? Would you keep this? Realistically, what can you do with this? But I would have a hard time throwing this away. I'm like, oh, I can't use this stuff, I can't use this. But what if I need this 1.5 by 1.5 square for something? Even though I probably won't have another color of it. Problem of mine. I should throw this away, but craft problem. I guess. What do you guys think? Is that a problem of yours as well? Like, do you keep paper and it's not necessary? I'm sure spouses or boyfriends or girlfriends or partners are shouting in the background, oh my god, yes, you guys have way too much paper. I definitely have way too much paper. And my family knows that I have the paper obsession, but I still get gifts like that for Christmas. So it's fantastic. Garbage, gotta throw it in the garbage. Okay, so I'm gonna use the bigger sheet because it's more worthwhile. So, some of these sheets you want to have longer than others. That's why they're perfect scraps. And you don't need to cut out, I'm cutting out extras just to kind of play with them. So you can cut out as many as you want. You don't need to. Okay, so done cutting for now, so let's get this out of the way. And then, because this is a scrap card, you might not have enough. So if you have to pull from new sheets, that's totally fine. I would essentially suggest that patterns stick to scraps, but if you need solid colors, then you do what you need. Okay, so we're actually just gonna basically line up your scraps however you want, and just kind of play with them. I think that this is the best part about crafting, is nothing needs to be perfect or exact, or I really love this color blue. But essentially what you want to do is line it up on the folded side of the card, and then we'll get to what to do with it afterwards. So I think I want another one of these here, maybe, you know, I think that might be enough. We'll see, we'll get to it. Oh, that's what I can do. Let's put a nice one underneath. All right, I have jumped a few steps. If you didn't notice, all of these are cut. And what I was talking about is how to cut them. So I'll show you with this longer one. Gently move this out of the way a little bit. Okay, so what you want to do is to make these cuts, be super gentle, and you're going to do it with all of the scraps that you've created. And what I do is I line it up with my mat here. If you don't have a mat, you can easily just measure this out. It's half an inch. Are these inches? Yeah. It's half an inch, and then and then just to center it, this is how I do it. You guys do it however works for you. I line up that, and then I just put it a dot right in the center with my sharp scissors. You can use a pencil if that works better for you, and then just be super careful about cutting this part out. So you want to line up the tip of your blade with the dot that you've made, and then the other end of your blade with the bottom corner, and then make your incision. So there we go. I wasn't quite center. See, this is the only issue that I have with this, is it's hand done, so it can be a little bit crooked, right? So if you guys have a better technique at how to cut these out, let me know, because I would love to master these cuts. But of course, each one's not going to be perfect. So you can see with this one here, it turned out pretty well. It's a little bit wonky, but again, if you guys have a better way to do it, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback about all this. This is obviously just tricks that I've picked up in the past. So whatever works better for you guys, let me know. And then I can share it with with everyone else on how you guys do it. Okay, so I've lined up all of my pages. Put this one back just for a second here. And I've essentially chosen where I want them to sit. So I am going to now, oh, and they're also, sorry, I should say this. I've chosen where I want them to sit for this way, and then essentially afterwards we're just gonna cut off from the fold side. So first thing I want to do is get them down. You can do this. You can do the other way first. You can cut them and then put them down. I just like to do it this way because then I can see where it's all lined up as I'm placing. So I've placed this one down. I think I'm gonna try and get this blue one down. So I'm gonna flip it right where it was. And then my technique here, it's not really a technique, it's just a little trick here, is just to line it up with the bottom, so that way when I flip it over I can use my finger to feel where the sticky part is and make sure that it is the length. Again, if you mess that part up, it doesn't matter, it can go this way as much as you want. You're just gonna be cutting it off anyways. That's why this is a scrap video, because it doesn't need to look exact, right? It's just a bunch of scraps on a page that look nice afterwards. Okay. And then, here we go. Gently feeling where my sticky part is, and then having it lined up. Perfect. Next I'll put this one down. Super fun part, just cutting and taping. But you know what? Sometimes this is the most relaxing. You're just so focused on getting it in the right spot that eases your mind. It's kind of like a mindful practice. Just crafting to me is just mindful. And let's see where it was. Oh, there? Right there? Okay. One and two. So, what is your guys' favorite thing to do when you're crafting? I really like using sparkle paper. Some people might using buttons or other embellishments. Some people might love using scraps. Maybe you're a master scrapper. I don't know. Let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys like to use, because I definitely have my strong suits. I'll use a lot of glitter in or sparkle paper, or let me get this out of the way. I'm so focused right now. I'm trying to talk at the same time, but it's taking a lot of focus. And then line that up there. Some people, I mean, like, it's not necessarily just for card making, for scrapbooking or making other paper crafts or DIY projects. What is your favorite tool or item to use? I'd love to hear what you guys use the most. And maybe it's something that I don't even use yet. Maybe it's something that you'll let me know and inspire me, and I'll try it out on another video. That would be very fun to try out with you guys. Up nicely. Okay, and now this one's just slightly below there. This one's there. And this one, I'm actually going to move like that. Yeah. Yeah, so this part you're really just playing with what you want it to look like. Let's put this one down because that one's a nice easy one to get down. always use this kind of tape too, and I know some people hate this kind of tape, but you know, it works the best for me. I've tried out other like glue and I'm blanking, snail tape, is that what it's called? And it's not for me. I find that it runs out too quick, or maybe I use too much of it, that's why it runs out. It doesn't like stick as well for me, I guess. I'm not sure. It doesn't work for me that well. I think I used the wrong edge here. There we go. Oh, no. No, I was right. But yeah, I used this one the most. Obviously, you'll see in all of my videos or this stuff. But I also use, sometimes I'll use that, oh, what is it called now? See, and then I blank. The 3-dimensionals. So I have some 3-dimensionals. I also have the flat 2-dimensionals. So I use that sometimes when I'm using like smaller items, especially when I use like sequins or something, I'll use like the dots. But this just works the best for me. And even with ribbon and stuff like that, like it's just easier to, I think it's purposely meant for ribbon, right? So it's just easier for me to use it all around. Okay, so I'm not gonna put this one down yet because this is going to be my accent color. Wow, my brain is really blank today. This is going to be where I'm stamping on. So it's up to you if you want to, you could stamp like in whatever you like. I am going to use my hot air gun for embellishing, the glitter embellishments. So I'm going to first, since I know that this is the length, I can show you how to cut this right now so that you're ready to stamp. Essentially, you're just turning it over, you're pulling out your cutter again. This cutter is amazing for exact incisions like this, because you want to be super careful that you're not cutting the fold. Otherwise, your paper is going to not open up. It's just going to be a single sheet again. So you want to be very careful. And then it gets nice and close without leaving any, sometimes when you use like a regular cutter, it'll rip the sheet a little bit, especially when you're doing for small cuts. I didn't quite line this one up nicely. That's better. And then that'll be the front. All right. Now, here's some great scraps for another day or another card. These are garbage. Okay, so I've pulled that out. So I haven't put the tape on the back of this yet because the paper likes to curl up a little bit. So that's why I haven't taped it yet. I'm gonna get a scrap piece of paper, put that on there, choose my stamp and my color. I'm gonna go with a bright white here. This one is Snow color, and it's by Recollections. Recollections? What do you guys say? I call it Recollections, but I think Recollections is the way you're supposed to say it. It sounds nicer too. And then I'm gonna choose my stamp here. Okay, so I've got my stamp here. I'm gonna place it on here. If you have one of those other tools, that can be useful as well, just so you get it nice and lined up. I'm just gonna test it just to see how it looks. I think I'm gonna move it to the side because I want to add embellishments afterwards. So give myself a little bit of room for that. Get it inked very nice. Make sure that it's completely covered. Just line it up here and ink. Alright. Add your embossing powder. This is probably one of my favorite tools at the moment. Oh my, I don't know why I closed that. I'm gonna need to put it right back in. Oh wow, okay. This stuff just gets all over the place. It's easy to clean up though, which is great. Make sure you tap it off real good. This E is going to be a little bit odd. I guess that's part of the stamp, right? Oh yeah, the stamp is just a bigger E and a bigger J. Okay, so now we're going to use our gun here. So you want to be very careful with this. It gets very hot. It says it's hot. You don't want to put your hand anywhere in front of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my finger right in the corner of the page. Keep my fingers away as far as possible. And then we'll go from there. Okay, so there we go. So as you can see, there was still a little bit of the powder on the page, which is why you get that, those little dots all over the place. So I try and blow it off. It's not going to blow off perfectly. You can try wiping it off. Just got to be careful that when you do that, you don't actually swipe on the powder, because then that'll wipe away the stamp. So I found some embellishments that I like. Now I'm going to show you them, and before you make your judgments, keep an open mind, because I'm going to say this because I think that since we're doing a scrap card, it is a great time to pull out those embellishments that are a little less loved, but they still have their own special look, but they might not fit in the average card. So I've gotten some random ones here. Start off with a nice simple one. This is going to be like the little bit of savior. Got some fancy diamonds, and then I have these two that I don't necessarily need to use, but why not try them out? So let's see how they look here. First of all, let's see. You know what? This is super cute, and it does sort of match with the popping randomness. I wish that Alice was just a little bit smaller so she could fit right in that spot that I left. And I don't necessarily want to use this Mad Hatter, but you know, I might need to save this for another scrap card or something and actually design around the sticker. I find that sometimes, and that's why you don't use the sticker, is because it just doesn't fit with the card. So maybe I need to make a card that fits with the sticker. So, which one shall I use? Coolness. You know what? And it's a little bit quirky, but this is my favorite one right now. This is what I'm gonna go with. Cute! Alright, I love that. And it's so random, and you know, sometimes it can be super hard to pull off, which is why it's so great to just test it out on these ones, you know? Okay, we're gonna go with, this one might be, Start Sticking. Because sometimes that's just what you need to do. use the big ones sparingly. Oh my, oh, that's what's going on. My glue is not sticking very well. I might need to pull out my other, yeah. Pull out my other tape. There we are. This is what the dots that I was talking about. Okay. Okay, so we've got a bit of those. I'm just gonna play with this one because I think this might be a bit too much, too big, I'm saying. Like, let's see how it looks first. Before I make any judgment calls, let's just try out 2 or 3 and see what it looks like. Daisy. Good girl. What do we think there? How does that look? I think I like it. And you know what? I'm only gonna add those 3 because it makes it nice and simple. It's not too crazy because we already have this a bit of a wild sticker. So if you don't have something like that, then maybe more of the embellishments would look great. But I think this is our finished card and it looks super cute. I love when I'm able to use up my scraps and use a sticker that is just a little bit out there. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Here is our final product. Super cute, super simple to get rid of some of your scraps, some of your unloved stickers or embellishments, and a fun way just to spend the day, I guess. I don't know, I find it super exciting when I can get rid of some of the paper that just piles up in my paper storage. Because I just have so much of it, it's just piling up. So I hope that you enjoyed this card. I'm glad that we were able to use up some of the extreme amount of scraps that I have. I'm sure that some of the other crafters out there have a lot of scraps as well. So there's our final product. Thank you guys for watching. Glad you could join me for this lengthy amount of time. I'm not sure how long we've been here. But I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, give the video a thumbs up. Give the video a thumbs up. Let me know if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more videos. And I will see you next week with another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.